So, next we've got Kristen Holzapfel, who is a pet sitter, author and trauma advocate. Kristen is an accomplished speaker whose background as a child protection officer gives her lived experience of trauma and related injuries. Welcome, Kristen.
Hi everybody, my name is Kristen Holzapfel and I'm short. My name is Kristen Holzapfel and I'm a social worker, author, and I own a small pet sitting business. After working for several years as a child protection worker, I developed vicarious trauma, which manifested as anorexia. This Tuesday is my 40th birthday. When I worked as a child protection worker, I was angry at my body. I had important things to do, and the nightmares, sweaty palms, and boiling stomach prevented me from doing them. Every day, I listened to stories of broken babies, shattered children, and families living the worst day of their lives. I forced myself to listen to these stories, willing my fear-filled body to sit still and not run away. I was, I believed, a crazy woman who was a danger to her clients. In 2006, I'd been a child protection worker for 3 years, and what I saw and heard in those years still makes me sweat today. Those stories and faces still prompt an irresistible urge to run away and disappear. In October of that year, I quit eating. I did so because of fear and unexpressed anger and an overwhelming sense of no way out. Eating seemed futile or indulgent. Not eating felt like an answer when there were no other answers. Following 3 years of fearful nibbling, I was hospitalised for anorexia. By this time, I was no longer working as a child protection worker, but the stories I'd heard never left me. Neither did the anxiety. I was struggling to come to terms with the loss of my social work career, and my attempts to re-enter the workforce were blighted by the fear it could all happen again. The chronic nightmares I'd been suffering for years showed no signs of abating. Maybe I was broken forever? In 2011, I was hospitalised again, this time for depression. Days after I was discharged, I quit my job, that I was about to lose anyway, and went back to university to study writing. Determined not to miss any payments on my mortgage, I moved out of my apartment, spending the next few years alternating between living with my parents and whatever cheap accommodation I could find. At a particularly low point, I presented myself to the Buddhist accommodation where, as a social worker, I'd referred my homeless clients. I began losing weight again. In 2012, I began university, started writing a book, and yet another battle with anorexia. My friends asked me to pet sit for them while they went away on holidays, and I enjoyed the brief moments of calm with these furry companions. Over the next 2 years, these animals offered me their paw as I continued my recovery. They sat with me as I woke from nightmares and licked my face when I cried. Pets have been an integral part of my recovery. 3 years ago, I launched my business, Canberra's Friendly Pet Sitter, and today I live as a gypsy, moving from one customer home to another about every 7 to 10 days. I live out of a suitcase and drive everything around in my trusty van. This unconventional lifestyle comes with the benefits of on-tap animal therapy. Animal therapy with animals who come in all shapes and sizes. Skinny, big-eyed greyhounds, fat Shar-Peis with velvety rolls, squat staffies with smiles bigger than your head. Lazy, athletic, giant, tiny, talkative, quiet, snuggly or independent. I love them all. I love them all for so many different reasons. Do we care a jot what each other looks like? No way. In 2014, I lodged an application for compensation for psychological injury. After a year-long trek through the wilderness of Comcare and the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, it was rejected. Devastated, I thought of the $30,000 I'd already spent on medical bills to date, the continuing medical bills which were mounting, and the poverty line wages I was now earning as a pet sitter. Again, I was fearful for my future, and again, my mental health deteriorated. Towards the end of 2015, I walked myself into the emergency department of the Canberra hospital and told them I'd spent the last few weeks stockpiling my medications in preparation for an overdose. In March 2016, I launched the book that had taken me 4 agonising years to write and brought back a lot of memories of my child protection work. I'd worked hard to bury those memories and had no wish to relive them. I persisted, refusing to give up until I'd said what I wanted to say, and now I feel better for having said it. As hard as those 4 years were, they offered me many opportunities for reflection, and one of the things I found myself wanting to do was to apologise to my body. I'm sorry I allocated my body impossible tasks and then got angry when it couldn't make everything okay. I'm sorry I didn't make my body a priority, and I'm sorry I cut it, starved it, drugged it, and put it through unnecessary surgery. I'm proud of my body for supporting me and all my efforts to increase the awareness of compassion fatigue and trauma amongst our frontline helping professionals. Thank you.